I do watch Expedition Bigfoot. I just haven't watched it in a while. And it's mostly because I just don't freaking have time to do anything. I like...
You have time to build a chicken coop.
That's my Saturdays. My Monday through Friday, I am in school and work and commuting and being a dad. And then Saturdays...
What about fixing your washer and dryer? You have time for that?
I squeeze it in. I'm exhausted, Josh. Kenny, you have no idea how tired I am. Because you just don't care. You don't care anymore.
No, you left me. Emotional support, Kenny, you killed him. Just want you to know that.
I didn't kill him.
You
I did not kill him,
him.
but just did.
Bad decisions and Willa killed him, but that's beside the point.
No, but really, I do have time to build the chicken coop because that's like my Saturday. So I wake up Saturday, I mow the lawn, I work on the chicken coop. It's almost done. And once it's done with that, I'm sure I'll have other honey-do lists.
Like
but
watching
right now,
Expedition Bigfoot, the latest seasons.
I will get to that as soon as I'm done watching the new season of Farmer Wants a Wife with Stephanie.
Oh my gosh. Farmer Wants a Wife? I've seen that on Hulu. I refuse to watch it.
It is the most wholesome of reality shows.
That's not what you were saying the other week.
Except for this season. This season somehow is worse. Okay? And it's the avocado farmer that is the most wholesome of all of them.
How so?
Because he hasn't kissed every girl that is on the farm, and they all have like 5 girls living on their farm with him, which in retrospect, or like as I'm speaking it out loud, sounds like a reality TV show about Southern Utah.
Just call it Colorado City.
Does it take place in Idaho?
No, California, Oklahoma, Texas is here. I think there's one in Florida. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. No, there's no way. There's no way that they're going to take any of the Oregon or the Idaho farmers because
real farmers.
No actual farmers.
Well, okay, I shouldn't say. And I almost walked into a trap where I'm like, I almost offended all of your in-laws if I saying that Idaho farmers were crazy. It's the the West Idaho farmers that are nuts, right? They're the ones that squat on the land or steal cattle, right? The Bundys of the world. They're nuts. They're not gonna have them on a reality show, at least this kind.
That's a whole other can of worms,
right? And we probably shouldn't go down that route. But
speaking of can of worms, what are you getting your wives for not Halloween? You don't get gifts for Halloween.
Yeah, you do. What, you don't?
Kenny, what kind of gifts do you get for Halloween?
Candy. I get everyone candy.
Yeah, but that's like giving gifts. That's not like...
I give everyone frights. I try and get her to watch scary movies with me, but she refuses, so she refuses my gift.
Which is really funny because that's quite the opposite with my wife. She tries to get me to watch the scary movies. It's a hard no.
Hard no.
Have you ever seen my lazy eye?
I don't think so.
Like that that will come out even for Dracula. Like the 1940s Dracula. I don't do well with horror movies.
Did you get scared when we went ghost hunting last time, Kenny? Or did Josh get scared last time we took him ghost hunting?
At the mill?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Were you, Josh?
No, but and here's the thing. I don't do well with movies. But in real life, I'm okay. Like when I go ghost hunting, I rarely, very rarely get nervous or scared. Now, if they follow me home and try to bug me while I'm trying to sleep, that's another story.
Josh, are you talking about the ghosts or are you talking about primary kids?
Both?
Yeah.
Same difference?
I mean, if you think about it, Kenny, there's not much of a difference between ghosts and primary kids. They both kind of hover around you. They both make things a little spooky and make things go bump in the night.
They both sneak up behind you when you least expect it.
Oh, speaking of primary kids, Hazel has said some of the funniest things lately. And since we don't talk anymore, I need to catch you up on some of this. So her thing right now is the minute she sees sunlight come through her curtains, she is up like a lightning bolt. And she will come into our bedroom, kick in the door. I kid you not, like full on Sparta kick the door and scream, "It's morning time." I looked out the window and I saw it's morning time. That's Hazel every morning.
Wow.
Okay?
Who needs caffeine in the morning with that?
No, and this Saturday she came in and she kicked in the door, declares at morning time, and says, "Do you know when you cook frog, you can eat the legs? They're made of ham." Where did she get this?
Probably the Muppets,
From Kermit?
Kermit and Piggy, right? That's how I assume their children would taste.
Like ham frogs?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's logical in a 43-year-old's mind. Why not a 3-year-old?
Well, you're the chef, Spencer. You know she got it from you at some point.
I've never
On
made her
eating
frog legs. The closest has been like the horrible like gummy frogs. Actually, it's the Albanese gummy frogs. There's that, and then we're driving home from church yesterday, and we asked if she wanted a sucker, and she like screams, "No, I don't like suckers. I like humans."
So when she starts kicking in your door and she's holding something in her hands, start to be worried.
Yeah, we're back to primary kids being like ghosts. We're going to be having to watch her with like one eye because we think we're safe, but the moment she starts like gnawing on us, we might have a problem.
Or walking on the ceiling.
Or walking on the ceiling. No,
I had to
heaven
look
forbid
up
that ever
at
happens.
what point is it dangerous that your kid has an imaginary friend, because Noelle has this imaginary friend named Lolly that has been around for years. And at first we thought it was cute. And then I started hearing her actually have conversations with Lolly. And then she would argue with Lolly and get mad. And then she would start crying over things Lolly said. And so I had to Google, when is it bad that your child has an imaginary friend? When should you be worried? The only thing it said is when they start talking about hurting themselves or other people, that's when you should be worried. So far, Lolly is not trying to hurt anybody.
So far.
But I actually asked her, I'm all, what's Lolly look like? No. So far, she doesn't look like she's dead. But it is a little
Okay,
creepy.
but what does she look like?
Yeah, describe Lolly.
You can't dangle that in front of us, Kenny.
She just said, oh, she's a little girl with brown hair. And she's mean. And that's about it. So I'm all, does she look like she's dead or alive?
I like how like direct you are with that one. Like, it's
she
not
said,
like
she said she looks alive. So
yeah, but what does that even mean to like a kid?
I don't know. I'm just waiting for her to say, Lolly told me to set this on fire. That's what I'm waiting for. We don't have pets, so she's not going to do anything to any pets.
No, have you heard of a canary in a coal mine, Kenny?
Yes.
Yeah, you need a hamster in a kid's bedroom.
Get a sacrificial animal.
Yeah. So if anything happens to hamster, you need to worry about Lolly.
Dude, she argues with this thing. And then she'll legit start crying as if someone actually hurt her feelings. And I've watched her do this to herself. It's crazy.
Josh, did you have any imaginary friends growing up?
Not that I remember. No, I don't think I ever had. And how old is she?
She's 5. She'll be 6 in October. Now she has a second one. Another one that she argues with. I don't remember the name, but there's 2 now.
I guess the question, I don't know. In my mind, like I'm thinking about this. Like at what point also do you have more in-depth conversations about her friends, right? Because I would really like to know more of the details. Like, what are you arguing about, right? What are you talking about? Why does she make you upset? And I guess, being 5, she should be able to articulate that fairly well, I would imagine. But I don't know. My mind is kind of racing on this.
She has a speech impediment, so she doesn't articulate it very well.
Oh gosh.
Sometimes it's hard for me to understand her, but no, I've just sat and listened and been a little creeped out. That's my extent.
I did check with the new and updated source of truth and knowledge. So ChatGPT says having an imaginary friend is quite common and not a cause for concern usually, especially in kids between 3 and 7. So you're good. You're good. It helps kids to process emotions, practice social roles, entertain themselves, combat loneliness, practice slaying skills, communication,
slaying
murder.
skills.
That's what I was like. Yeah, slaying skills.
Like
That's
Yeah,
what I should.
again, I
That's
guess
the
it goes-
hamster, right?
Yep, that's the hamster's role right there.
Come in, find the hamster dissected and skinned. Then I should be worried. Or not, because those are her slaying
Well,
skills.
that leads to another question entirely. So if you need 101 Dalmatians to make a fur coat, how many hamsters would you need?
Oh gosh, I don't want to do this math. Oh, okay. Of course, you're going to be asking ChatGPT. Oh boy.
How many hamsters to make a coat, ChatGPT?
I'm looking it up right now.
And survey says
I have a clicky keyboard, so I got to mute myself. And I okay, so quick estimates. A full-length fur coat takes about 30 to 50 rabbits or 100. That seems like you're way overboard on 101 Dalmatians. A hamster's much smaller. One rabbit pelt is about a square foot. 1/20th. You need about 600 to 1,000 hamsters.
So she wanted a coat and a matching set of gloves and a scarf.
ChatGPT would like to make it clear that this is purely hypothetical, and the actual use for hamster fur is not done commercially due to size efficiency, ethical concerns, and public backlash.
I don't know. Hamsters are kind of jerks, to be honest with you. I had
They
one when
deserve
I was
to
a
be
kid.
made into a coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had one as a kid too. Like, as a kid, hamster sounds so fun until you actually get one.
Mm-hmm. And then it just sits in your hand and just bites and poops on you.
Yeah, and they sleep all day and then they keep you up all night.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like having a real kid.
Yes.
Well, mine was blind too. Mine was a blind albino hamster. And I think I just felt bad for it because I was in special ed at the time, and I just felt like it was a kindred spirit, but no, not really. It just was mean.
A blind albino hamster that you decided, hey, nature will not take you from me.
Why am I not shocked that Josh had a blind albino hamster?
It was the only hamster at the pet store. Like, they had ran out of other hamsters. It was the last one, and I just felt like it was fate that I had
it
this
kind of
hamster.
was fate.
Mm-hmm. Well, I only had it for like 3 weeks, and then I got tired of it trying to bite and poop on me.
So what'd you do with the hamster?
I think it was a small farm accident. Chucked it over the Rainbow Bridge.
You know, you let nature go select him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can fend for yourself. You've made it this far in life blind. Go figure it out in this big lonely world.
Some owl or some hawk was like, what is that? Is that a white hamster? What's that taste like?
Better tender meat, I guess.
All white meat.
Yep, all white meat. Okay, 180. Again, not good with math. 180 here. Now, Kenny, as my spiritual and temporal leader,
Yes.
I feel like I need to ask you about Mother's Day, because as my spiritual leader, you are in charge of Mother's Day, or you were last year. The whole elders quorum in our church was in charge of essentially getting the women food, and then
Yes.
filling in for all of their positions, teaching positions in what was it, young women or I can't
Young
remember.
women went along
Okay,
with the Relief Society, so it was just
primary. Okay, so you filled in for primary. I'm asking you this because my wife turned to me at church yesterday because there was a little confusion about what was going on next week with Mother's Day, and she just told me, she's like, I don't want to go eat food with everybody else. I just want to go to singing time in primary.
Yep.
What are the plans? Do you
I
know?
don't think that's fair.
Yes. Spoiler alert. I guess from MaryAnn's perspective, it's even worse than last year.
Uh-oh.
There's going to be a devotional after sacrament for just the women. The devotional is going to be about like women. Let's see, the topic that was brainstormed was women who were involved in Jesus's ministry. So like Mary Magdalene, his mother, those kinds of people. About them. And then while this devotional is going on, the elders quorum will set up chairs and tables in the gym and set up the food and the soda bar in the kitchen and the room that shares the window with the kitchen. And then yeah, so when they're done with the devotional, they'll go in, get their brunch stuff, and then head on into the gym and sit down and eat and chat and socialize. And then primary will be run by the volunteers who got suckered into it that I threatened, and gospel doctrine when I made the announcement. As I said, if you don't sign up, I'm going to assign you to run singing time.
Hey,
class.
that's not a threat. I would totally run singing time.
Yeah, you weren't even there. You were over at your primary class.
I know. I like singing time is honestly mine and MaryAnn's favorite.
I conducted last year.
Yes, you did, and you did such a great job. But I won't lie, like there needs to be a little bit more entertainment value. And I was thinking maybe, as much as I do love singing time, I do kind of miss sharing time where it's not, just all the singing. And I was thinking we should play some of the old like church movies during singing time.
Like the one with what was it? The Highway to Nowhere with the sweating can of beer.
Or that one. There's also that one of the cup of coffee. Did you ever see that one?
No, but I do remember the phone call.
There's the phone call. Cypher in the Snow, which I think Cypher in the Snow, I think that starred the mom from Malcolm in the Middle, if I remember correctly.
Cypher in the Snow?
Is it Cypher in the Snow? There's one that has, I can't even remember the name of the actress.
Are these all old church produced
Oh yeah.
films?
Yes. But there's one that I was thinking, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that one in ages. And then I stopped and thought, actually, that would be like the worst movie to show on Mother's Day to the kids. And it's I'll Build You a Rainbow.
I'll build you a rainbow.
Have you seen this?
Spencer just sang the jingle.
I'm assuming you've seen the movie, Spencer. Did you watch it in primary as a kid?
Do I remember it? No. The only one I remember watching was the phone call.
Oh man. Somebody out there has to remember I'll Build You a Rainbow.
None of these church produced videos made it down to Texas where I grew
And
up.
maybe this is aging me because I remember back in the day with I'll Build You a Rainbow, it was in the slides. And so it would be the music, the soundtrack, and then you'd have to go through the slides. And so every time you had to turn it, it would beep in the middle of the story. It'd be like beep, and then it would go to the song. But essentially, what the whole movie is about is this kid named Jamie who essentially gets called home from school one day and his mom is dying. They're best friends. Like she was the best mom on, in the neighborhood and everything. And, there's just this love for his mom and everything. And she's dying from, I'm assuming cancer. But the whole movie is that it's promising Jamie that she's going to build a rainbow. So every time that he sees that rainbow, he'll think of her. And I was like, that would be a horrible movie to show the kids. But I'm like, the kids need some good classic, Mormon movies.
Alternatively, Kenny, you guys can borrow my new hot dog roller.
Set up the popcorn and hot dog stand.
Yeah, it's a 30 dog roller.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am not conducting it this year. I won't have to wing it.
Just throwing it out there. You don't even need to do dogs. You can do taquitos. Like all the women can gather around and you can have get a nacho cheese fountain and they can sit around with the taquitos and dip it in the nacho cheese fountain.
My Relief Society and Josh and my ward is too high class for that.
Mm-hmm.
That is high class. This is Titanic level, first class crap here.
Can we roast mini weenies on it? Because I feel like that would be up to par with expectations in our ward.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you can roast those on there. We've used it before. It's good.
Oh, I got a new one, Kenny. Have I not?
Oh,
I thought I sent you pictures of my new one.
I haven't seen your new one.
Give me 2 seconds here. Oh. And I can't just slack you anymore because reasons.
I should invite you to my family Slack I started just to have you there. You are an emeritus Tongan, so ninth cousin directly.
We are cousins. Yeah, that's why we're going to the Bees Polynesian night.
Yeah, that's right. Our date night that I invited Josh on that too.
Okay.
Surprise.
We're going to triple date.
I'm pretty sure he's got some Polynesian blood in him too.
I mean, I kind of was adopted by them a little bit.
Explain.
I went to Mo Better's a lot in Bountiful.
You appreciate the cuisine is what I just heard.
Exactly.
And that's how you learn about a culture, is appreciating its cuisine.
Yeah. Even if it's just macaroni salad, you know?
I just got to point this out because, Kenny, I moved from an office in Farmington to an office in Draper. And when we were in Farmington, like the places close by to eat were Chick-fil-A, Harmon's. There was a Mobetta's right when I left. And like a Wendy's, right?
Yeah. The Mobetta's is over in Centerville.
No, isn't there
Isn't it?
one?
Or bound?
There's one by the Cabela's there.
Oh, it must be new. I haven't been out there.
It like opened the week I got let go.
Well, let me go verify next time then for you.
You should, because my new office, the closest places to eat are Harmon's, Mobetta's, Wendy's, and Chick-fil-A. So it's like I never left.
Yep, there you go.
Except I swapped out a soda fountain for a fridge of soda.
I'm reading the lyrics to the song or to the film of I'll Build You a Rainbow.
Okay, give it to us.
One day, Jamie was called home from school. As he was running home, he saw this great big ambulance parked in front of his house. Beep! And as he entered down the hallway, he saw his dad talking to a doctor. He said, "Dad, Jamie," or no, oh, his dad said, "Jamie, come in. Your mom wants to see you." Beep! And as he opened the door, he saw his mom laying there. And she turned her head and said, "Hey, Big J," even though he wasn't big, but he had a big heart. She said, "Jamie, I'm leaving, and I won't be coming back." Beep! Jamie says, But why, Mom? Who am I going to play with, and who am I going to talk to, and how am I going to know that you're there, Mom? His mom says, "Because, Jamie, families are forever. I'll build you a rainbow way up above. Send down the sunbeams, send down the sunbeams."
I'm just going to let you go as long as you'll take it.
I would totally do the whole thing, but, we don't have enough time for that.
So the part 2 to this is she dies in the house, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So part 2 is
Watch Her in the Woods.
20 years later. Ghost
I
hunter.
wonder if his mom's name is like Lula or whatever.
Lolly.
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 Yeah.
Okay, so real talk here. For the longest time, I kept getting Cypher in the Snow and Watch Her in the Woods mixed up in my mind.
What?
I didn't know they were different movies.
You're forgiven. I have no clue what those are.
So Cypher in the Snow is the church movie. Watch Her in the Woods was Disney's first foray into trying to make a PG-13 horror movie.
I don't even remember that movie.
You don't remember Watch Her in the Woods?
I mean, it was a horror movie, so obviously I didn't watch it.
Horror movie, Josh. Horror.
Oh, did I say horror again?
It's okay.
A horror movie?
So 1980 film. It stars Betty Davis.
As in Betty Davis Eyes?
Yes. And an American family move into a British country house to encounter malevolent spirits. The ghost of the owner's daughter, long missing, torments the family's young girl. Rated PG. Horror. Disney.
Now, 1980s PG movies were all over the place because, like, you had Airplane, you had Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield, and there was frontal women nudity in those.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Isn't Airplane PG, but I want to say there's a topless lady in it?
Mm-hmm.
Out of randomly nowhere?
I had no idea that existed until my brother and I, for family night in college one night, said, "Hey, we used to watch this movie with my dad all the time." And we rented Airplane to watch with us and our whole FHE. In college at BYU, Idaho, for FHE, it's 2 boys' apartments and 2 girls' apartments that are assigned to get together and do activities. So we had all these innocent freshman girls over in our apartment. and we had no idea my dad only watched the TV edit with us.
Oh, yeah.
We're swearing up and down how funny this movie is, how great it is, and then all of a sudden, boobs.
Mm-hmm.
At family home evening.
We were never allowed to pick the movie activity again.
That's essentially what happened in college for me as well. It wasn't FHE, but my roommate was, Mr. Institute, and very innocent, never had done anything wrong. And it was actually him who picked out the movie. Same thing, had seen it before, only the TV edit, turned it on. It was a Sunday afternoon. I think he went and go see The Bishop like 5 minutes after that happened. So,
well, I can confirm, according to the IMDb Parents Guide, for Watcher in the Woods, sex and nudity, 0. 9 out of 9 found this useful. Violence and gore, mild. A girl cuts herself on a broken window and blood is briefly shown on her finger. Profanity, 0. Alcohol and drugs and smoking, 0. Frightening and intense scenes. It is a horror movie after all. Moderate. So I think you could handle this one, Josh. This might be like your intro into horror movies.
I don't know.
Yeah, not like the intro I gave my 12-year-old back when he was 1.
But didn't you throw it on what? Yeah, go and talk about that, Kenny.
So Andrew, he's now 12. But back when he was an infant and I thought, he doesn't know what he's looking at. I watched all of the Insidious movies. I watched the Conjuring movies. All of these like legitimately scary stuff. Thinking there is no way he's going to be affected by this because he's just drooling around on the floor. And now today he can't bear to watch anything remotely scary. I was watching last night the X-Files, and it's the episode in season 5, if you guys have ever watched it. The episode written by Stephen King, where it's a doll that possesses a girl and kills people. And I'm watching that episode, and of course he walks down to say goodnight right as the doll is killing somebody, and he flipped out. Couldn't go to bed. My wife had to sit next to his bed and hold his hand while he fell asleep.
Oh.
So
You're
I'm not
such a
making
good
fun
dad.
of him. I'm just saying, wow, he really did take in all of those scary movies when he was a baby.
I mean,
Yeah, don't let that be your introduction, Josh.
Maybe you were the one who brought Lula in. Or Lolly. Whatever.
Lolly. Well, it worked with Jurassic Park. He watched Jurassic Park when he was a baby, and he loves dinosaurs, so I don't know what went wrong, with Insidious about dead people from the other side trying to possess you to re-inhabit a living body. You guys have never seen those movies?
Yeah, I'd rather be chased by a dinosaur. I see Andrew's logic here.
I mean, it's solid. Like, I think I need to start watching more Power Rangers with my kids, based on your logic.
Makes me want to ask you guys a question, talking about innocently watching movies with graphic content.
What's that?
What movies in the 90s, or what TV shows, whatever, media, were you allowed to watch that you watched later on as an adult and it blew your mind that your parents let you watch that? For me, it was all of the Jim Carrey movies of the 90s. Because I watched them later as an adult and I'm like, wow, that was over my head. All of that innuendo. Like the beginning of Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. I had no clue how he was getting paid for finding that poodle until later on.
Well, let's not even talk about that whole rhino scene.
Oh, that's classic.
Oh, and it was classic, but I don't want to go into much detail of it. But yeah, that whole process of it, I'm like, how did my parents allow me? Yeah, how did my parents allow me to watch this?
Yeah.
Mine didn't. I wasn't allowed to watch. Yeah, just Airplane. I couldn't watch Batman. I couldn't watch Simpsons. I couldn't watch Power Rangers. That was too violent. Well, I could only watch PG movies, nothing PG-13. But somehow Airplane snuck through.
Somehow that PG movie with topless female nudity snuck through.
Oh, dude, I had a friend that he couldn't even watch PG movies, probably because his mom caught his dad watching Airplane.
Right. Oh, man, that happened to me one time, actually. Okay.
Your
here's
mom
another
caught you
story.
watching Airplane?
No, kind of worse. So I was trying to practice my Italian to do family history stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I go onto Netflix. I'm like, okay, what looks like a good Italian movie for me to watch with the subtitles on? In Italian, trying to learn. It's like, okay, I'll pick this one. It's about gangsters or whatever. Some mob family in Rome. Anyways, I'm watching it in Italian audio with Italian subtitles, just trying to translate. And so I'm only really picking up like 20%. And so I'm sitting in my computer room watching it. The guy is at a party, and then he goes to a hotel, and then it cuts to this out of nowhere graphic nudity mature scene with procreation and drug use. And right at that moment, my wife walks right in. What are you watching? I'll be honest, I have no clue what these people
I'm reading the subtitles. I'm reading the subtitles.
I had no clue what was happening.
You weren't even watching any of the nudity. You were just solely focused on those subtitles.
I installed a program to actually allow me to pause and click words in the subtitles. It would generate its own. So it would give me dictionary stuff on the Netflix interface. And so I'm sitting there doing all this, and then I look up like, holy smokes, there's adult action going on. And then my wife walked in.
In the nick of time.
In the nick of time. At least she didn't rat you out, from the pulpit at church. So you're good to go.
I feel like there's a story behind this for you, Spencer.
Oh, no, not for me.
There's a story for me about that.
I'll leave that at you. I'll lay that at your feet, whether you want to leave people guessing, Kenny, or not.
So, okay, story again. My dad was inactive from the church for like 16 years and just barely came back a few years ago. And he was super out. Like, didn't even think that there was a God out. He wasn't just in a different church or didn't want to go to church. He was out.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result, he had a lot of art, my mom would call it. Like Greek statues, that kind of stuff, and then paintings. And yeah, it was a little weird. He comes back to church eventually and then gets called to the bishopric in his ward.
Oh.
And so we're invited to go when he was getting set apart. So we go, and he gave a talk or something, or it was a testimony meeting. I don't remember. But my mom gets up there in sacrament meeting and proceeds to talk about how she's so glad he's come back to church and how she prayed for years and years that the Lord would bring him back. And then proceeds to say, and I'm so happy that he's going to get rid of all of his art now. And and I just felt like I was going to vomit.
Oh my gosh.
Like, your mom is outing him all right here in front of the entire ward. I felt so bad for him. I felt like I just wanted to shrink and disappear. I was so embarrassed. Oh, she just kept saying that his art, I just wanted it gone, and now it's gonna go. And it's like, Mom, stop, shut up.
My mom would probably say something in that same situation and probably wouldn't even understand or fully grasp exactly what she was saying and how she was putting it.
Oh yeah, that's my mom.
Yeah,
that's my mom.
Yeah, they yeah. I think our moms would be friends.
We do love Kenny's mom, though. Like, legit.
Oh yeah, she's famous. She's famous at Spencer's former place of employment.
I miss you guys.
She's become an inside joke. I don't know how.
I miss you guys a lot.
Yeah, my mom is the Tongan, so she will always out you and then tell you how much she loves you, says I'm sorry for getting mad at you, and then calls you to repentance. So like she did this past weekend.
Oh.
Okay, another story then.
I was gonna say,
Spencer.
you don't.
I'm like, you can't leave us hanging here. We need
Yeah,
this.
I can't leave you hanging.
Mm-mm.
So Spencer, my new cousin, is Keanu Tanuvasa. He married my cousin Well, my cousin's daughter, so my second cousin technically. So now the big going from Utah to BYU football player is now my cousin. He's cool. Got to meet him. Was at his wedding over the weekend. And then because we had a bunch of family fly in from Tonga, we had this little semi-family get together Saturday night. And with the way the Polynesian kind of thing is, or the Tongan thing specifically is, it's kind of like this informal testimony meeting, and everyone gets up and speaks. So all my aunts get up and say stuff, my uncles get up and say stuff, my cousins start saying stuff, so my mom gets up. My mom is known for fighting with everybody and getting mad at everybody, so she gets up, apologizes for causing drama, asks for forgiveness, and then proceeds to say, and for all of you who are not keeping the commandments, you need to repent. Which is a lot of my cousins. So it's like, all right, there she goes again. Tried to heal the drama and is starting afresh.
Are you sure? Are you sure that your mom is not Greek? Because that sounds
Greek Polynesian.
Because that sounds so much like a lot of my family.
Better question is, Josh, are you sure you're not Polynesian?
He does appreciate Mobetas.
I know, but
that is true.
23andMe says otherwise.
They went bankrupt, so you can't trust them.
Okay, maybe I need to get what's the other one? Family,
Ancestry.
Not family. Ancestry. That's right.
Yeah, I do have my Ancestry one. I did that one recently. I'm a lot less Scottish than I thought I was.
I think everybody is.
Yeah, but like my grandpa was like from Scotland.
Did you ever get your patch of land back?
No.
You should rate it.
It's okay.
Well, genetically you might be different, but can still be Scottish. You know, like the Normans, they went from the British Isles, they went and settled in Sicily centuries ago. So your family could be from Sicily for the last 400 years, but be British ancestry genetically.
That's true.
Which, I mean, I have Southern Italian. That's fairly prevalent. And a lot of that is mostly because most of my Greek family, one side of my Greek family is from Crete, which was settled or had a huge migration of Italians.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because, I mean, people look at ancestry, and I don't want to bore people to death here, but it's just fascinating, seeing the migrations of people, especially in Europe, because it's not cut and dry. I mean, you're French or you're Italian doesn't mean that you're Italian or necessarily French. It could be a number of different, DNAs out there.
Yeah, that's like my Italian side, actually. Been in southern Italy for centuries, as far as I can tell, but then genetically on Ancestry, it was actually all like northern Spanish, southern French. But then when you look at the history of the region my family came from when they came to the United States, it was actually settled by the Kingdom of France back in the 1500s. So eventually the Pavillas they were some Frenchmen before.
You know what all of this means, Kenny? This means that both you and I should probably go to the Olive Garden sometime and celebrate our ancestry.
You know, we should.
And then we can go over to Mobetta's and get some pog.
Yeah. I will grant you emeritus Tongan status along with Spencer.
Can you please,
I appreciate it, Kenny.
Do I get crowned? Do I get anything special, like a grass skirt? I don't what does that entail?
I'll teach you how to make some otai.
Oh, you did teach me how to make otai, so that makes me like one step.
It's a watermelon pineapple drink.
Yeah.
Coconut.
Oh man.
It's good.
Can you put that in shave ice?
People have, but I think it's a ripoff.
You insult the culture, Josh. You insult the culture.
It's more like, it's a drink that you eat because it's just filled with fruit.
Wow,
and it'll go great with barbecue in the summer.
It does.
Okay, and it's Ute? Otai? Otai.
Well,
okay.
Technically a glottal stop there in the beginning. Glottal stop, O-T-A-I.
You two have been to the new Bees Park, right?
I have passed it.
I went during Easter for the interfaith concert that they had there, but I haven't been to a Bees game.
Okay. I was gonna ask what kind of food options they have there, because maybe we could get some mobetas while we watch the bees play.
Wieners.
Yes.
Oh, I'm gonna get that because that's my culture.
We'll Kenny and I will just get some ute.
Otai.
Whatever.
Otai and Lula.
On that
OT
one,
and
Josh,
Lula.
why don't you take us out?
You've just listened to The Other Show with Kent Dunn, Josh Hansen, and Spencer Myers. The Other Show is a Fat Squirrel production. Show design and audio editing is done by me, Josh Hansen. Sales and business manager is Spencer Myers. And resident sex appeal by none other than Kent C. Dunn. The Other Show is generously supported by our friends on Patreon. A huge thank you to our Friends with Benefits tier. These friends are contributing a minimum of $25 a month, which in return comes with some rather significant benefits, including the weekly off-the-cuff episodes of The Other Show, monthly bonus episodes, quarterly access to a live stream recording of an episode of The Other Show, and exclusive swag and perks. A huge thank you to our favorite Brit, Jonathan Bhaskar, the lovely and talented Mrs. Robinson, the one and only Chris Anderson, Brandon from Popfly Cards, Lady Terry A. Finley, the proud Disney mom, Tanya Budge, the other Keith Brown, it's Rick, not Dick, Smith, Dave, and everyone's favorite Melanie Milring. To support The Other Show on Patreon, visit patreon.com/The Other Show to join. Please rate, review, and subscribe to The Other Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, or wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. To better connect with us and other fans of The Other Show, join our Facebook group, The Other Group. For links to past episodes, our other shows, and to shop for show swag, visit our website at theother.show. And remember, when you're not listening to me here on The Other Show, you can listen to me on the Fartlek Running podcast show.
You can hear me on my other show, Baconsale.
I'll build you a rainbow way up high above. Send down a sunbeam plumb full of love. Sprinkle down raindrops, teardrops of joy. I'll be happy as springtime, watching over my boy.
Once there was a boy named Jamie. He had some great friends, but his greatest was his mom. Not in some sissy way like that. She was just different than the other moms. While they were busy going to their fashion shows and bridge parties, she was home with him. They'd play in the backyard together, go on bike rides, have long talks. She was the best football player on the whole block. At least that's what the other guys said. They really thought she was special. You know, they wish their moms were more like that.
I'll build you a rainbow way up high above. Send down a sunbeam plumb full of love. Sprinkle down raindrops, teardrops of joy. I'll be happy as springtime, watching over my boy.
Then one day Jamie was called home from school. There was a big white ambulance in the driveway. When Jamie walked into the front door, his dad was talking to the doctor, and Jamie was scared. They said he could only talk to his mom for a minute, and when he tiptoed into the bedroom and saw his mother lying on the bed, she smiled and whispered, "Hi, Big J." That's what she always called him. Even though he wasn't very big, she said he had a big heart. She said, "Jamie, I'm going away, and I won't be coming back. I'm dying." Big tears came to Jamie's eyes, and he said, "Mom, you just can't die." And she said, "It's okay, babe. There's no regrets. I've been with you more than 11 years than most moms are with their boys in a whole lifetime. He said, I know, Mom, but you just can't die. You just can't. And she said, Jamie, there's a secret. It's a special secret, and I never want you to forget it. Families are forever, and even though you won't see me, I'll still be there watching over you and waiting for you. And he said, but Mom, if I can't see you, well then, how will I know you're there? She thought a minute, and then she smiled and answered, I'll build you a rainbow way up high above, send down a sunbeam plumb full of love, sprinkle down raindrops, teardrops of joy. I'll be happy in heaven, watching over my boy. She kissed him, closed her eyes, and she was gone. As Jamie and his dad stood in the driveway watching the ambulance drive away, his dad broke down and started to cry. They hugged each other real tight, and Jamie felt his dad's teardrops on his own cheeks and cried too. Then he remembered the secret, and he looked up, and sure enough, there it was, right over their house. A big rainbow, just like she said. And he said, Dad, it's all right. Families are forever. I'll build you a rainbow way up high above, send down a sunbeam plumb full of love, sprinkle down raindrops, teardrops of joy. I'll be happy in heaven, watching over